And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
Chewie, is that you?
Niemand mag es. Wichtig nur naschen. Schnitzel. Bitte.
Oh, I'll stop subjecting you to that chaos. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Common Censored. I'm Lord Sterling, and it is Friday. Dre is occupied at the moment with some work stuff, so he should be popping in sometime soon. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff going on today. That was what if Chewbacca was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, sorry, I'll repeat I'll keep it on silent because it's craziness, but I'll show you the beginning of the meme over here and say, what about if Chewbacca was played by Arnold instead of the regular old Chewbacca type sound. Yeah, sorry, I muted myself for a split second there at the beginning. Forgot to unmute. So yeah, in other news, we have an image of the WEF inviting Javier Milei to speak. Shocking themselves. A terrible move. What's up to everybody in the chat? Crazy B, Mama Mac, Kayla, Sam Duty. How's it going, guys? And we've got Alicia on YouTube. What's up, Alicia? And Mama Mac. Always good to see you ladies here with us. Man, 2023, 2024. Man, the stuff that happened, you would never have imagined on your bingo cards for these years. Let's jump over to check the status of Sports Illustrated. I don't even want to look. That's a dude. I'm just telling you. Right there. That's a dude. So I don't get any ideas. The establishment. You're over here at Real Alex Jones on X. The establishment is committing seppuku. All we have to do is to get out of the way and not let them suck us into a civil war. Wise words. Was it Sun Tzu who said, never interrupt your enemy when they're destroying themselves? Hey, Miss Mama X3, welcome to the show. I just saw that you found us on Lou Valentino's Discord. Good to hear. Were we mentioned, or did you see one of our notifications, or how'd you find us over there? Let us know in the chat. Good to see you. Yeah, so we're at Real Alex Jones on X, and he's pointing out that showing this Wall Street Silver tweet. We'll go to it. How it started. Sports Illustrated puts a trans dude in a swimsuit on the cover of their 2023 annual swimsuit edition. How it's going. All of the staff at Sports Illustrated was fired today. And he says, go woke, go broke. Strikes again, but it's get woke, go broke. That's the true vernacular. So get it right, Wall Street Silver. I mean, go woke, go broke. Uses go twice, but it's cooler with get. And I think that was the original one. So this is a dude over here. Sports Obliterated. Oh man, Yeah, that's a good meme right there. Sports Illustrated entire staff told they're getting laid off. So there is a little bit of nuance here. They missed a payment to their distributor or publisher or something called Authentic Brand, I believe. Here we are at Gateway Pundit to explore a little more in depth. Margaret Flavin writes, for Sports Illustrated fully embraced the woke agenda. For the 2023 swimsuit edition, they chose a trans biological male for one of the covers. In 2022, they chose a dangerously obese woman and a 74-year-old dietitian for the coveted swimsuit issue. Oh man, I guess this must be the obese woman. Back in the day, I was into chicks at a young age, and I had gotten my grandfather. It was like a tradition. My grandfather would get me the swimsuit edition every year when I was like 6, 6 or 7, around that age. So that was exciting, but wouldn't be as exciting nowadays. Not they don't even tell you probably that it's a dude, so it's like false advertising until you get into the article itself, I'm guessing, unless there's something that like some kind of disclaimer on the cover. But that's not cool. I don't like that. There was a TV show, Supergirl. Yeah, yuck it up. It was pretty good when it started. I'm a big Superman fan, so naturally I had to check it out, but it got real woke, real bad, and they had a grand tender on there as well, a trans bender that they didn't tell you was a trans until like a couple episodes after they introduced her, which I felt like was a dirty trick. Like they're trying to like trick you into having feelings like, oh, that chick's hot, right? And then you find out it's a dude and you're like, it's deceptive. Luckily, I did not think he was attractive, so I didn't have to worry about that. But they're baiting us, guys. Watch out. Flustercluck, welcome back. How are we gonna tell real women from fake? Look for an Adam's apple. And then you can also analyze the length of the fingers. Men have a longer ring finger than a pointer finger. Women, have a longer pointer finger. So you can always be like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." Take a look, shake their hand and look at their fingers. Straighten those fingers out. Let me analyze that. Thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button. We've got 4 people on YouTube, 16 on Rumble. Alicia, it's a big plan. Been in the works for years. Absolutely. So, Sports Illustrated has openly glamorized the oppression of women and promoted Sharia law by featuring a Muslim woman donning a hijab and burkini, quoting Gateway Pundit over here as well. In their effort to win the woke Olympics, it seems they have lost sight of their audience, which are dudes that like seeing high-level dudes compete at a high level in like ritualized combat effectively, and who want to take a break every once in a while to check out some chicks in bikinis, right? And they're undermining our ability to do that. It's pretty brutal. Oh, Flustercluck. That's can you imagine dating someone for months / years, then finally going to sleep with them? Oh, surprise. Yeah, that's like kind of attempted rape, possibly. There are people who get killed over that. Literally, they go to a bar presenting One Direction and not the band, and take someone back to their place. And then, they find out Captain Winky is still around, to quote Ace Ventura, and they get stomped out. Or the person runs out and then comes back, and takes them out. It's happened on a number of occasions that I've seen. I would definitely consider that sexual assault. Pretending to be a gender that you're not, and initiating sexual contact with somebody who otherwise would not be interested in that. They trotted out Big Mike. You send me a link, Alpha Boss. Post it in the Rumble chat. And good to see you, the Alpha and the Omega. Welcome back. Happy Friday, TGIF, everybody. Oh yeah, Mama Mac knows what's up. Oh hell no, Fluster. And I understand why some men have freaked after finding the girl they were messing with was in fact not a female. The trans folks really should tell people they're Transylvanian. But instead of wanting to suck your blood, they want to suck your something else. Hey, Cora Davis. Sorry, jumped in right at the moment of the worst filth on this show. Had to get the dog out of a snowdrift. Post pictures in the Discord. Have like balls of snow dangling from the fur. My dog Spunky, who is no longer with us, but who lived to be 2 weeks shy of 17 years old, a Cairn Terrier. He would, we'd let his hair get all crazy sometimes, and he'd run out there in the snow and come back in, and it was like he was a Christmas tree with just all these balls of snow dangling all over him like ornaments, or some crazy shit. Let's continue here for a second. Oh, actually, let me see if I can find this video real quick. Talking about dogs coming in from the snow. There's this video. You've got a lot of balls coming in here. It was a little short video. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, there's a better version of it. This is hilarious.
You got a lot of balls coming in here.
Yeah, that's like the dog coming in from the snow. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. Omega directive. I meant in terms of a trans Sports Illustrated. They trotted out Big Mike and pretended he was the first lady, and America believed. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, man. You see those photos of her kayaking with Barack lightning from heaven over there in the background, just hanging out, and she's all jacked with the shoulders of like a linebacker. Yeah, or the dancing on that TV show bit. That's what, I don't think that footage was edited. It seems real. Either she's got a pair of keys in her pocket or she's happy to be there. Oh, man. Sports media reporter Richard Deitch, who left Sports Illustrated for The Athletic, shared an email sent to all employees on Friday to X. The note tells Sports Illustrated employees that a, quote, significant number, if not all, of their jobs were set to be eliminated. They went woke, they went broke, and they couldn't pay their fee to their brand group over here. Sports Illustrated staffers received this today. Dear all, on Thursday, January 18th, we were notified by Authentic Brands Group, ABG, that the license under which the Arena Group operates Sports Illustrated, SI brand, and SI related properties has been officially revoked by ABG. You think they would have been missing, as a result of this license revocation, we will be laying off staff that worked on the SI brand. This apparently is as a result of missing payments. You think they would have been missing any payments if they hadn't gone super woke? I mean, of course, all of the print media and sports organizations and stuff are not doing well with the economic decline we're in, but it was only exacerbated, or as Luke Rudowski would say, exacerbated by the onset of wokeness, turning it all into a joke. Oh yeah, you guys are still getting snow there. Cora. Where are you in Pennsylvania? Is that what? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, so we have this. All impacted employees will receive severance pay and will be entitled to any applicable WARN or notice period outlined in the union agreement, MOA. Some employees will be terminated immediately and paid in lieu of the applicable notice period under the MOA. Employees with a last working day of today will be contacted by the people team soon. Other employees will be expected to work through the end of the notice period and will receive additional information shortly. We appreciate the work and efforts of everyone who has contributed to the SI brand and business. Thank you to Richard Deitch on X for snagging that image. The New York Post reports the decision, which includes some employees being, quote, terminated immediately. Quote, comes after the Authentic Brands Group, the licensing group that bought Sports Illustrated for $110 million from Meredith 5 years ago, terminated the agreement. Sorry, guys, I need my coffee. It apparently is because they missed payment. Yes, we've said that. I don't know where in the article that is. I saw it on another article, I think. But let's jump over to another story. You guys get the drift on that. We won't beat a dead horse. Sports Illustrated, rest in peace. I mean, we'll see if they survive or whatever, but they used to be a cherished publication. Oh, and something related. It looks like we got Flustercluck sharing. Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Oh, man. Flustercluck, are you trying to give us eye aids over here? I have a feeling that none of these people are chicks or something. I don't know. what's going on. What's the problem at oh man, I don't even want to know. I'm scared to dive into the details of what's going on at Victoria's Secret. I'm just going to assume that every person I'm seeing here is a male. And let's move on. Joe Biden unilaterally cancels another $5 billion in student loan debt for 74,000 borrowers in the latest vote buying gimmick. Yeah, who cares what the Supreme Court says about canceling student loan debt? It's, they'll just do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, Flustercluck, they definitely went woke big time too. They got rid of the angels and like changed all kinds of stuff. Victoria's Secret. Yeah, Ed, no eye aids, please. I apologize, good sir. I apologize. And yeah, this whole thing, there's a great article from the Foundation for Economic Education, Not Yours to Give. I feel like I'm going to have to just read that at some point to share it because it's so good and so important. But as for the idea of buying votes, there's this article, this piece over here is about howdy, Melly Milan. Welcome back. Good to see you. This is about, what's his name? Davy Crockett, the famed American icon. The following story about Davy Crockett was published in Harper's Magazine in 1867 as written by James J. Bethune, a pseudonym used by Edward S. Ellis. Take that, Nikki Haley. You want everybody to reveal their identities to the government to be able to talk? Well, pseudonyms are pure Americana, biatch. So take that and stick it and sit and twirl and just go on out the door because we don't need none of that here. Thomas Paine had originally published Common Sense under a pseudonym as well. Actually, I don't even know if he used any name, but it was not revealed until later that it was in fact written by Thomas Paine after it blew up and it became a popular type thing. But the point of this article here is that Davy Crockett was going around campaigning and people were like, oh, hell no, I'm not voting for you. And he was like, why? I'm awesome. I'm Davy Crockett. And they were like, they basically pointed out, well, oh, this thing happened and you voted to use taxpayer money for disaster relief or whatever the cause was private interest cause that he had voted in Congress to delegate taxpayer money to finance. And basically this dude was like, you can't do that. Taxpayer money is not supposed to be used for private private funds. Here we are. Yes, I know you. You are Colonel Crockett, and I have seen you once before, and you voted for you last time you were elected. I suppose you are out of electioneering now, but you had better not waste your time or mine. I shall not vote for you again. This was a sockdolager. I begged him to tell what was the matter. Well, Colonel, it is hardly worthwhile to waste time or words upon it. I do not see how it can be mended, but you gave a vote last winter which shows you that either you have not the capacity to understand the Constitution or that you are wanting in the honesty and firmness to be guided by it. In either case, you are not the man to represent me. But I beg your pardon for expressing it in that way. I did not intend to avail myself of the privilege of the constituent to speak plainly to a candidate for the purpose of insulting or wounding you. I intend by it only to say that your understanding of the Constitution is very different from mine. And I will say to you what, but for my rudeness, I should not have said that I believe you to be honest. But so Davy Crockett's confused. He's like, there's got to be some mistake, like I love the Constitution. And he basically says, my papers say that last winter you voted for a bill to appropriate $20,000 to some sufferers by a fire in Georgetown. And he's like, yep, that's true. I own up to that. You got me there, but certainly nobody will complain that a great and rich country like ours should give the insignificant sum of $20,000 to relieve its suffering women and children. You would have done just as I did, paraphrasing. And he said, it's not the amount, Colonel, that I complain of. It's the principle. In the first place, the government ought not to have in the treasury no more than enough for its legitimate purposes. But that has nothing to do with the question. The power of collecting and dispersing money at pleasure is the most dangerous power that can be entrusted to man, particularly under our system of collecting revenue by a tariff, which reaches every man in the country, no matter how poor he may be. And the poorer he is, the more he pays in proportion to his means. What is worse, it presses upon him without his knowledge where the weight centers, for there is not a man in the United States who can ever guess how much he pays to the government. So he basically is saying that if you have the right to give to one, you have the right to give to all. And as the Constitution neither defines charity nor stipulates the amount, you are at liberty to give to any and everything which you believe or process to believe is a charity, to any amount you will think proper. But he basically says, no, Colonel, Congress has no right to give charity. Individual members may give as much of their own money as they please, but they have no right to touch a dollar of the public money for that purpose. If twice as many houses had been burned in this county as Georgetown, neither in this county, his own county, he's saying, neither you nor any member of Congress would have thought of appropriating a single dollar to our relief. There's 240 members of Congress. And if they had shown sympathy for the sufferers by contributing each 1 week's pay, it would have made over $13,000. And so basically, he points out that Davy Crockett had violated the Constitution by giving public money for taxpayer money for private debt relief, private causes. And it's a precedent fraught with danger to the country, for when Congress once begins to stretch its power beyond the limits of the Constitution, there is no limit to it and no security for the people. I have no doubt you acted honestly, but that does not make it any better. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, in other words, except as far as you are personally concerned, and you see that I cannot vote for you. So Davy Crockett thought about this and realized that the dude was right. And he went back to Congress, and he basically apologizes to this guy and says, I'm going to do better next time. So please vote for me. And you're right. So he goes back to Congress, and there's another type of disaster. And basically, they're trying to appropriate taxpayer money again. And he instead said that we don't have that right as congressmen, but he proposes that each Congress member gives a week pay. And so they ended up actually doing that. And so this guy, Horatio Bunce, that changed Davy Crockett's mind, at least temporarily changed history. And Davy Crockett went back to Congress. They each donated a week of their personal salaries to fund disaster relief in a different circumstance. So jumping back to the relevance of how that relates to what we were talking about, taking taxpayer money to cancel out private debt for 74,000 borrowers is basically it's a way of bribing your constituents. And the fact that taxpayer money was not to be used for private causes in the first place was like a check to prevent politicians from bribing the people that they're trying to get the votes of. Oh, well, we'll give you welfare money, universal basic income if you vote for the left. Just vote for me and you'll get free money for the rest of your life. Welfare, whatever it is, subsidies, all kinds of any of this type of stuff. It's not supposed to be happening, and it can be used and leveraged by candidates and by government to bribe their constituents for votes. It's dirty. It's so dirty. It shouldn't be happening. Miss Mama X3. I feel the reason public schools stopped teaching cursive writing is so future generations won't be able to read government documents like the Constitution. They stopped teaching cursive? What? Oh my God. We are under crazy attack. That's, that's a great point, because then they can just write whatever they want, like how the Library of Congress put a warning for like hate speech and bigotry warning at the over the Constitution if you try to click on it on their website. Let's see if I can find information about it. The Declaration of Independence, for sure, because it talks about savages. The National PolitiFact says U.S. National Archives put a harmful content warning on the nation's founding documents. I'm pretty sure they did it. Yeah, I don't know. You guys will have to look into it. I don't know. PolitiFact. I'm not going to like go through their whole thing because they're trash, but it apparently happened. I remember it being reported pretty intense, a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, let's talk about this for a second here. The Biden regime will get their student loan bailout one way or another. Joe Biden once again on Friday unilaterally canceled $5 billion in student loan debt for 74,000 borrowers in his latest vote buying gimmick. That's what it is at its core. Any type of free money for people is buying votes, and it's un-American at its most fundamental foundation. Biden canceled student loans for workers such as firefighters and teachers who have served more than 10 years in the public sector. The latest round of student debt cancellation brings the total amount canceled under Crooked Joe to $136.6 billion for more than 3.7 Americans, according to the Department of Education. It comes after the SCOTUS blocked Biden's initial student loan handout last year, which would have cost more than $400 billion. It's so insane. These people are just straight up lawless. SCOTUS said, no, you're not allowed to do that. And he's just doing it anyway. Screw the law. Screw the Supreme Court. What's the point of checks and balances? Three, separate branches of government to each hold each other in check. If, the executive branch has taken on so much power in the past 50, 60, 100, 150 years since the Civil War, that when Lincoln went total dictator, and obviously slavery is bad. So I'm not talking bad. I'm not saying we should have never had the Civil War. There should be slavery still. I'm not saying that clearly, but Lincoln became a dictator, like it or not, and transformed the federative polity of 50 individual experimental laboratories, states, all seeking the best solutions, the cream of the crop rising to the top, the poorer states emulating the policies of the wealthier states, a rising tide lifting all the states. That's what led to the boom of American prosperity, where he skyrocketed out of poverty, capitalism being the greatest reducer of poverty of all time, thrusting the industrial revolution forth and advancing us, propelling us out of the dark ages, effectively into the bubble of luxury and technology and amazingness that we have today. People don't understand. The kings 300 years ago would have killed for the type of technology that people who live in poverty in America have nowadays. Light switches, running water, like this is stuff that people don't understand. How lucky we are. As horrible as things are, we are the luckiest people of all of known history to live with. Imagine trying to eat meat without refrigeration. Okay. And then maybe that'll put in perspective for you how lucky we are in even now as things are falling apart. Refrigeration became a thing basically when Charles Birdseye, the founder of Birdseye Frozen Foods, people would use ice blocks and freeze food back in the day, but when you thawed it, the cell walls would burst, and it was terrible food. Terrible. It was like turned into mush basically. So Charles Birdseye went up to either Canada or Alaska. I'm not sure exactly where, but he was chilling with the Inuits, pun intended, and he noticed that they had frozen fish that would thaw out and be perfectly good. And he realized that it's not freezing itself that's the problem. It's the speed of freezing. And when you freeze something slowly, the cell walls burst and it turns horrible. So he developed, he learned that they were flash freezing because it was so cold up in the Arctic. So he came back to the States and started developing technology to create freezers and refrigeration systems. So before people even had refrigerators in their homes or anything like that, Charles Birdseye just knew it was the future. He had this vision, right? And he started building freezer warehouses full of frozen foods, vegetables, fish, poultry, all kinds of stuff. He just knew it would be necessary. And then bam, the Great Depression strikes and people are struggling for food. And Charles Birdseye is there with a huge supply of frozen foods that helped alleviate the crisis. I think it was the Great Depression and then freezer trucks were developed to transfer his food to people, and the commercialized individual household refrigerator and freezers were developed. And then by the 40s, it was a commonplace, and just kind of an amazing story. I learned about it on the Food That Built America, or Food That Made America, one of these shows on History Channel. Really cool stuff. So your meat's bad 120 years ago because there's no refrigeration, and you're trying to use condiments to cover it up. And Henry Heinz created ketchup and figured out a way that to use vinegar as a preservative to make the tomatoes so they would last, because people would sell condiments, but they were mad sketchy, and they used dark brown glass bottles because they would be rancid and rotten, and then they would barely make the meat any better than it already was, as horrible as it was. And so Henry Heinz figured out how to produce ketchup and with vinegar as a preservative, and he began using clear glass bottles to show off his product in storefronts. This is a condiment that is good and looks good, and you can see it's good. And it will make your meat a lot better. Basically, your horrible meat that's been unrefrigerated and may have been sitting at that side, that deli stand on the side of the street for a couple days before you got it. Ketchup will make it better. So yeah, really interesting show. Worth looking into that. I don't know how we got on that tangent, but let's jump on to our next topic. And while we're at it, let's jump off of YouTube. Yeah, that's right, Ed. Let's end it on YouTube and start heading over to Rumble. I'm going to copy the link and paste it in the chat on YouTube over here. And boom, there we have it. All right, guys, let's do it. Let's get ready to rumble.